beautiful friends? It's Amanda here, and it's time for my April ranking. This is a newer series on my channel where I talk about all of the new products that I tried, tested, and reviewed throughout the month, and just give you a quick rundown on where those land on this scale. I think the scale is pretty self-explanatory. At the top will be my absolute favorite products. Most things tend to fall here in these middle two categories. I am in like with you and just meh. And then occasionally my least favorite products or things that really underperformed for me will find themselves in this bottom category here, the least best. Just keep in mind that these are really my personal preferences and my personal experiences with these products. You may have different preferences, different skin type, different style, different wants, needs, desires, favorite colors, skin tones, all of that stuff. So I definitely encourage you to go watch the other videos where I give more in-depth information. I do tend to use these products more than once, even on camera and even more off camera. I try to be really rigorous in my testing. I give all of the products as much of a chance as I possibly can to be set up for success. So I try my best to be fair. You know, reviews are subjective at the end of the day, but I try my best to give everything a good chance. And my monthly ranking appears just before my monthly favorites video, and you will see some overlap in products between the ranking and the favorites, but they do tend to be very different and hopefully will serve a different purpose for you. We have a lot of products for the month of April, so I just want to get started with two products from Colourpop that I actually reviewed at the very end of March, but I didn't get a chance to include these in my March ranking, so I'm going to include them in my April ranking, even though technically I think I posted my review for these So Juicy lip products on the last day of March. So we have the So Juicy gloss balm stick things and then the So Juicy lip liners. The lip liners didn't really do that much for me. They're just meh, but I will say I'm not a big lip liner girly to begin with. I don't like plumping lip products. I will say these don't have as much of an intense burning, stinging, plumping type of effect, but I don't really like the packaging. I don't like the way that you can't twist them back down. They're just like a click up system. I'm sure that's that way for a reason. I don't particularly care for it. So these didn't rank very high for me. You may disagree. You might love plumping lip products. This might be your absolute favorite thing. I encourage you to go check out the review if you want to see these swatched. Maybe you'll love them for the reasons that I dislike them. We have another lip product, and I gotta tell you, I had a wildly different experience with these Flower Beauty Gloss Crush lip serums. This has become an instant favorite for me. You definitely are gonna see one of these appear in my April favorites because I love the Bronze Crush one in particular. I have not stopped wearing it. This formula is really nourishing, hydrating. It reminds me a lot of the Maybelline Lifter Gloss formula, which I love. So this was an instant hit for me. It's a nice little drugstore type of price point. I also have a lip swatch video with these, so make sure you go and check that out. I guess technically I don't have the clear one, so let's cut that one out. Okay, I didn't buy the clear one, but I do have a full review and lip swatches with all 5 of the tinted shades, and I gave it a rave review and that has held up. I have worn these so much throughout the month of April, and these definitely deserve a love, adore, obsessed, impressed spot for me. Next, we have this foundation from Urban Decay. This is the Face Bond Waterproof Foundation. I use this in 2 different videos, and I've worn it quite a bit off camera as well. This appeared in my testing new spring makeup video. Then I did a full wear test with this foundation as well. It performed much better than I expected. The wear time was beautiful, even though this is not necessarily perfectly suited to my skin type because I have dry skin and I have a little bit more mature skin. I do think this is best suited for somebody who has a more combo or oily skin type. However, I have to say, I was very pleasantly surprised by this, and I do think that once the summertime heat and humidity hits, this could really be a power player for me. I'm ranking this much higher than I expected to. I do think that Face Bond deserves to be in the I am in like with you tier. On my first time trying it, from my first impression, I would have expected this to be more in the just meh category. However, after really giving this a try and giving it several long wear days, I think this is pretty impressive. The shade match is really good for me as well. I have a very neutral undertones and I struggle to find true neutral foundations, especially ones that have a lot of coverage, that really are a nice match for me. And this gives me a lot of the things I'm looking for, surprisingly. I wouldn't have guessed it, but here we are. I think this is a very strong I am in like with you type of product. I did try several new products in my testing new spring makeup video that we're gonna run through here. First is this Colourpop Liquid Light Glow Drops Liquid Highlighter product. This does come in 3 shades. I did swatch these in a YouTube Shorts and over on the Makeup.Just.For.Fun Instagram in a reel. However, I haven't done a full dedicated video. That's definitely something I still have on my schedule to film if you would be interested in it. There are a lot of ways to use a product like this. Liquid highlighter is nothing new. I've seen a lot of discourse around this Colourpop product in particular, saying, oh, it's a dupe of such and such product, it's a ripoff of such and such product. This type of liquid highlighter has been around for many years. Every major brand, the really big, especially non-indie brands, have done a version of this. This isn't even Colourpop's first go around with a liquid highlighter. NARS, MAC, Cover FX, even the heavy hitters in the drugstore have all done this many times over. I don't think this is a quote unquote ripoff of anybody else's particular product because everybody's done it. It's been popular since, the 2010s. I also feel like it's kind of hovering in here. I do think there's a lot of content already existing about products like this. However, if you want to see a specific dedicated video to using these beyond just when I tested them earlier in the month of April, I can definitely make that happen. I have a lot of ideas of how to use this, and I'd be happy to do live swatches, color mixing, things like that. Just let me know if that would actually be helpful to you. I am happy to make all kinds of videos. I love doing straight reviewing. I love doing tutorials. I love testing new makeup. I love swatching and comparing. But at the heart of that, I just want to make things that are actually helpful and that you actually want to watch. So let me know if this type of product is something that you actually want to watch, that you could benefit from, and we can make it happen. In that same video, I used the Kaja Dewy Bar, the Finding Ferdinand Delicious Balm, and that was also my first time using the Essence Lash Without Limits mascara, which I have not stopped using since I filmed that video. And this I have really enjoyed. It definitely grew on me, I guess. It also just fits my style. This is one that I thought would be an I am in like with you and quickly became a love, adore, obsessed, impressed type of product. Make it a little bit smaller so I can fit. Well, maybe I should stand it up. What if we get more stuff in here? I truly don't decide where I'm gonna rank things until I start putting them out here. I really liked this Delicious Balm, particularly this color. I believe it's called Lucky Cat. It worked beautifully with the Kaja Dewy Bar, I think it's called Fig Smoothie. These two colors worked so nicely together, but I will say I've gone back to the Dewy Bar more than I have the lip balm. So I think that these are both really solid products, but not necessarily obsession worthy. Part of my hang up with the Dewy Bars is how expensive they are. I don't know if that necessarily should factor in. There are plenty of expensive products that I would easily be obsessed and impressed with, but this one, it just feels like while I've enjoyed using it and I've had some beautiful looks and beautiful wear time with this product, I feel like maybe there needs to be more colors. Maybe I just need to give it more of a chance. I don't know. I'm just feeling not quite obsession worthy. And sort of the same thing with this Delicious Balm. As much as I've truly enjoyed wearing it, I haven't found myself reaching for it over the Flower Beauty lip serums or other already existing lip products in my collection. It's not bad. It smells good. It feels good. The color's really pretty. The packaging's very luxe. I think these both have a fighting chance to move up, whereas I don't think Face Bonds will ever be a love and adore product. I think both of these have a chance to move up. They just didn't quite get there for me. Sometimes I wonder if I make sense. I really hope that I do. Oh, I could also do a dedicated video with the Kaja Dewy Bars too. If you want to see those swatch, see more of the shades in action, let me know, because I do want to keep using these and giving them more of a chance. They are really, really pretty. And if you are thinking of purchasing something like this, because these are more expensive, they are around $25 each, which is no small price tag for a single blush. So maybe this video is more helpful than the Liquid Light. Maybe I could combine these in a video. I'm just thinking out loud at this point. Let's move on to the next product that I reviewed, and that is this beauty right here. This is the Mellow Grove palette from Lethal Cosmetics. This palette has kind of taken over my eyelid space over the past month. I keep going back to it, partially just because I try to wear palettes multiple times in the month that I review them so that I can give you a really solid idea of how I feel about them by the time my ranking rolls around. And this one has produced so many beautiful looks. Anytime I would wear this palette out and about, I would get compliments on my eyeshadow. I have done some really just gorgeous looks across the board, and the more I used it, the more I liked it. I still like the Midnight Serenade palette, which is sort of the darker jewel toned sister palette that came out at the end of last year, but this one really, really grew on me, and I've just enjoyed wearing it so much. I think this deserves a top ranking. I need to do a video where I show some looks combining this with Midnight Serenade and the Flora Story palette, because that is such a little dream team. You know I love an indie palette. It's hit a lot of the right marks for me. It's got green, it's got purple, it's got some shiny, shiny eyelid colors, beautifully blending mattes, some really easy like 2 and 3 shadow combos for when I'm just running out the door. I can do something colorful, I can do something smoky, I can do something sparkly. I've had a really good time with this one. This is one that will be on the list to talk about when the best palettes of the year discussion starts rolling around. I know it's kind of early to say that, but I've been doing this for a while, and I just have a feeling this is going to be one that sticks around on my vanity for a while. The very last set of products that we need to talk about is the Colourpop Beauty and the Beast collection. I am going to rank these individually because I have some very different thoughts about different pieces in this collection. Overall, this is really in the middle for me. If I had to say rank the collection as a whole, it would be dead in the middle for me. There are a couple pieces that I really enjoy, some other things that either aren't the right color for me or just fell a little bit flat. In general, for me, this is a very middle of the road collection as a whole. I do have some nostalgic ties to the film. It was one of my favorite Disney movies growing up. We also have very heated debates in my household about who is the villain in this movie. My husband and I have two very different ideas about who the villain of Beauty and the Beast is. I don't necessarily want to debate that on a large scale with strangers, but there's lively lively discussion, let's put it that way. Moving on, I'm going to talk about these individually. This collection has, of course, a palette, a Super Shock highlighter, a lip mask, 2 different lip kits, and 2 different blushes. I have not only a full swatch and review with comparisons, close-ups type of video, but I also have a get ready with me where I use a bunch of these. I showed you an eyeshadow tutorial, several of the products in action, and I gave you more in-depth thoughts there after having used the products for a while. I will say this is the only thing that I really don't like in the whole collection. This pink blush, I believe this is the Mrs. Potts blush. It's just not the right color for me, combined with the fact that it's not nearly as high performing formula wise as the more brown toned blush. So this was the only thing in the collection that just really fell flat for me. Honestly, I think that this blush, I think this is the chip blush, and the more brown lip kit are my favorites. I have gone back to these outside of the context of using this collection specifically to review it. These are just the right colors for me. They perform really nicely. This blush is very silky and pigmented, whereas I had a harder time with the pink blush being a little bit more dry, a little bit lacking pigmentation. The other blush in the collection is really nice and silky, beautiful. These colors all work nicely together. The lip packaging is so lovely. I love the little rose print on the lipsticks. These are my top picks from the collection. They just hit all the right marks for me. And I also really enjoyed using these 2 Beauty and the Beast lip and cheek options with the Lethal palette. So I had a lot of good high ranking products this month. Now, the other lip kit simply just isn't the color story for me. The performance is fine. I just don't love a pink lip color on myself personally. Sort of same story here with the lip mask. I like their lip masks a lot, and I do have dry lips, so a lip mask is the type of product that I use on a daily basis. I just don't love rose scented things. If this was super florally perfumey rose, you would probably see it all the way down here in the least best category. However, they did a nice job of making this a sweet, very vanilla rose type of scent, and it just shot straight up to the I am in like with you category. The packaging is adorable. They really went all out on this custom rose lid for the lip mask, and I'm a sucker for some cute packaging. That can go a long way for me. So I quite enjoyed this lip mask, and I love seeing it on my little skincare shelf in my bathroom every morning. I did just finish up the Laneige lip mask that I've been using, so this came at the right time, and it's cute. So I am in like with it. The highlighter and the palette similarly are just kind of meh for me. They're definitely not bad. They're just not exciting enough for me to fall in like with them. I see why they didn't do a more intriguing color story for the palette, honestly. The palette fits the film, it fits the packaging, it fits the collection. I don't have a problem with it the way that it is. I appreciate it for what it is. It's just not really doing that much for me. So it's fine, it performs fine, and the looks that I've done with it have been very cute, very easy, very successful. It's just not really floating my boat in the way that this Mellow Grove palette does. And the Super Shock highlighter, again, a formula that I really like. I haven't had any problem using it. It is just a little bit more on the glittery highlighter side than I prefer. And I also don't love these swirled tie-dye type of highlighters because the color is so different. It's cool that you can customize it depending on how yours looks. You may be able to fine tune the powder that you pick up to suit your own complexion, and I think that's a great idea in theory, but as a reviewer, it makes it kind of hard to recommend it because I don't even know what yours is going to look like. So it's just okay for me. It's not terrible. Definitely not my favorite Super Shock highlighter. It's just fine. Look, Colourpop all over the board here from the top, middle, and bottom, I guess. We finally are getting a substantial number of products dropped in a month from them, which they were keeping it very low key earlier in the year. Scrambling to restock that Twilight collection, which was just restocked the other day, by the way. So go and check out my Twilight collection video. And if you have been waiting to snag some of those pieces, there are still some available on the site as of the time I'm recording this. So that was one that I really loved. I would recommend that whole collection over the Beauty and the Beast one, but at the end of the day, you got to get what works for you. I have a lot of great things in the pipeline to be reviewed in the month of May. I have some very cool indie brand collections to review. I am anticipating delivery of my Amy Loves Makeup Adept collection, so I will be filming that as soon as I can get my little paws on it. I'm sure that I'm gonna love that one. And you know, there are a couple other things coming up too, so should be a very fun, very review heavy month in May. April was not a review heavy month for me, but May is going to be pretty crazy and I'm looking forward to it. I would love to hear what you think about all of the products that I ranked today. Do we have any of the same favorites? Did things work differently for you? Perhaps you love the ones that were least best for me. That's cool too. You know, we all have our different preferences. I always like to hear what you think about things too. So make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below and check the description box for more in-depth information about all of the products that we talked about today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. And I love your face. Okay, bye!